I'm pretty sure that most Christians ask God for guidance and direction more than we really want it. I know that that's true about me, and this is just basically human nature to not really want to be directed somewhere. But, in Christian world, and if you're somebody who believes that there is a loving God out there, then you probably want, or at least claim you want him to help you and to lead you in a good direction. And I have a different understanding of this because it came from a story that happened to me years ago. The house we were living in had, it was like over 100 years old, and it had one of those floor drains in the basement. And I got up one morning, and I don't remember why I was in the basement. That wasn't part of my normal morning routine, but I discovered a big old mess down there. I wasn't sure if it came from the laundry or what, but there was a big puddle of dirty water all over the floor because the floor was, uneven and stuff, didn't really drain to that drain very well. And so now I had this mess to clean up, and I was trying like using a mop, but what kind of worked and stuff. But I discovered somewhere along the lines that I had a big dustpan with a rubber edge that I could use like a squeegee, and that worked fairly well. The problem is that the floor was so uneven and had like a bunch of low spots and things. I'm like trying to scrape water out of them, and as I'm doing that, it just struck me that I'm having such a hard time directing the water where I want it to go. And I just recognized it as a prayer that I had said many times in my life. I don't remember in hindsight if it's something that I had been praying at that point in time, but we ought ask God for guidance and direction. We want Him to lead us. And that's exactly what I was in the position of trying to do to water. That I was doing my very best to guide and direct it, but water was doing what water does, and it's always flows to the low point. It takes the path of least resistance. So when I'm trying to scrape it along and move it in one direction, it's flowing out around the edges of the dustpan and it's settling into little low spots, and it's, you know, just swirling off to the side and, getting farther from where I wanted it. And I'm certain that this is the same position that God is so often in with us. Because no matter how much we say and we're asking Him to guide us and direct us, I'm positive that at all times He is. Whether we're asking Him to or not, He is doing His best to guide us because that's what He does. Like, He's a loving Father, and He wants to lead us in the best possible direction. Jesus said in John 10:10 that He wants to give us a rich and satisfying life. That's His purpose. That's His plan for us. And so He's there actively guiding us. But the problem is we're about as cooperative as water. And when He's nudging us and pushing us in one direction, we are so inclined to kind of scooch off to the side and get out of the way of that, or to try to turn a different direction because we don't like feeling that pressure. And it's, I don't know, this is just part of being a human being. And if you're going to actively try to pay attention to God, if you want to listen to Him and you want to arrive at the life that He has in store for you, then you need to kind of lean into that. We have to develop ways to get comfortable, or at least get accustomed to Him guiding and that pushing, because He's taking us from one place to another. And that transition might not be fun. Usually it's not. You've got to go through like growing pains. Nobody really likes change. We tend to be comfortable with something and we want to keep what's comfortable. But God wants to take us to what's best. And as you go through, I can't promise that there's ever a point that it's like, and you get to here and it's the happy ever after, because that's not real life. But He is taking us to what is best. And the idea is trusting that He knows what that is. Like, it's weird to use this kind of term, but like, I knew better than the water did where it should be, all right? And I was trying to guide it. And I think that God is at least as much smarter than we are as I am than water. And He knows what He's doing. He knows where to take us. And He has a plan, and it's better than our plan. And it's a question of, will you let Him actually guide you? Not just say that you want it, but will you really let Him do it? Like, that is the pathway to the best life. And He's out there actively guiding each one of us. Just we have to be willing to lean into it and let it happen.